We give you free internet, free breakfast, and right now when you take 2 separate trips, you earn 1 night free. Book now at choicehotels.com.
Today, it's a must-see lineup. First, a new terror group surfacing, Inside at 10. Then at 11, Lois Lerner speaks. What the former IRS head is finally saying.
One of my first elections happened in a public school, president of the PTA. Senator Hagan's ads don't tell you that. Her whole campaign is built on falsehoods. We increased school funding by $1 billion and raised teacher pay, but Hagan calls that a cut. I've worked with both parties, but Senator Hagan's record is different. She voted the Obama party line 96% of the time. I'm Tom Tillis. I approve this message. I'll stand up to the president, and I'll stand up for you.
Hi, are you tired of looking at your old floors? You should try sprucing up your home with some new carpet or hardwoods from 50 Floor.
All you have to do is schedule a free on-home estimate and we come to you.
And we bring tons of samples so you can look at them in your light with your furniture.
And from now until the end of the month, you'll save tons of money with our 60% off sale.
Plus, mention promo code Debbie and you'll save an extra $100. Check out 50floor.com.
Call 877-50-FLOOR. Pick up the phone, we'll be knocking at your door.
Some quick headlines for you. An event meant to introduce kids to flying turned deadly after 2 planes crashed in the air. 2 people on board the Cessna, the 78-year-old pilot and a 14-year-old boy, were killed. The other plane, an amateur-built Sea Ray, landed safely in a field in New York. And the son of a fireman killed in the 9/11 terror attacks made his debut on Saturday Night Live.
Their relationship drama is blocking the puzzle. I can't play the game.
20-year-old Pete Davidson is a featured player this season. He started his comedy career as a stand-up at age 16. Family members say he has his father's sense of humor. Clayton?
Thank you, Tucker. Well, FBI Director James Comey blasting Apple for their new security encryption that makes it nearly impossible for law enforcement to access your data, even with a search warrant. So is this new system helpful or hurtful to our national security? Here to debate is privacy attorney Eric Crucius and former White House Chief Information Officer under President George Bush, Theresa Payton. Nice to see both of you this morning. All right, so my immediate response to this was, well, how does the FBI get off having meetings with Apple, kind of demanding that they maybe change their technology to make it a little easier so they can snoop? You come down and supporting James Comey on this. How?
You know, Director Comey has a right to be concerned about this because when we think about a child being stolen and trying to find them, or we think about a terrorist attack targeted at a city and we're trying to understand it, time is of the essence. And in this case, what he's asking for is, can we sit down and talk about what you want to do about privacy and security for your customers, but at the same time, don't let a marketing decision slow us down from doing our job.
A marketing decision, the company makes money on the backs of its technology, Eric, right? They are a technology company, and they're not responsible to the federal government, who has snooped on its own without even asking for their permission in the first place.
And I think this is a larger question of the government overreach that you have with the snooping. Apple is responding to that by having software that doesn't allow the government to snoop so much.
Right, so it's not totally, well, let's be clear, because it's not totally encrypted. A lot of the messages in iOS 8, we're talking about iOS 8 specifically, the new software. So if you're concerned about your federal government, download the new iOS 8 because it has encryption for your messages, your contacts, photos, and all of that. But there's still some ways that the federal government can get in there if they have a warrant for iCloud.
Well, there are, but you know, there's protocols that exist today. When I think about the Oklahoma case, for example, we didn't know, were we dealing with a lone wolf or an agent of ISIS? And law enforcement used today's protocols to talk to technology companies, and they were able to say, after looking at his alternate Facebook page and other technology, we believe this was a lone wolf. Now, investigation's still undergoing. What if we were still sitting here this morning and didn't know? So there's protocols that exist today. If we don't like the protocols, let's have an open debate and change those. Let's make sure we're not impeding law enforcement from doing their job.
But is Apple doing anything illegal here?
No. In fact, this is something that other companies have done time and time again, from computers. Even Google's Android system does something very similar. So it's nothing that's illegal. In fact, Apple's just doing something to protect its customers from other hackers, anonymous, for instance. If a backdoor is there, a backdoor can be put there for anybody else to use, such as the Chinese government, tracking dissidents and things like that. So it's very important to have the door closed and locked so nobody else can use it.
And at the end of the day, Apple's basically said, we don't make money off of your data like other companies do. So we have no reason to have access to your data. We don't want your passcodes. We don't want that information. It's for you. You purchased this electronics device for your own personal use. Why should we have access to it?
Well, and my challenge with the premise, and I want to make sure, whether it's Apple, Google, or anybody else, when they come out and say, we've done this so that you're protected from the bad guys because it's unhackable. In my 20 years, I haven't seen something that can't be hacked. Everything is hackable. All technology is hackable. So we want to make sure we strike that right balance. And yes, we do need Apple, Google, and others to protect our privacy and security. But let's make sure we say if the protocols today with law enforcement are not working, let's modify those. Let's not say we're locking out the bad guys and they can hack in, but yet the good guys can't get access to the information without taxpayer expense and a longer wait time.
And what does it mean to be a good guy? I mean, the NSA seems to have done it without their permission anyway. So, well, it's a great debate this morning. Eric, Theresa, thank you so much. We want to hear from our viewers this morning. Where do you come down on this? Do you think the federal government should have access to these devices, working with Apple and Google and others? Or you should say, butt out, keep out of my privacy? Let us know. Friends at foxnews.com. Coming up here on the show, she went to show a house to a prospective home buyer and never came back. The latest on the intense search for this missing real estate agent. And turn your kitchen into a laboratory. This scientist turned stay-at-home mom is cooking up some crazy experiments perfect for you and your kids.